All right, so welcome to another rapid fire business story of the week. This is part of our rapid fire series, and today we have an incredible guest with us, someone who's achieved extraordinary success and is here to share their unique business journey with you. We're excited to hear their insights, so let's welcome them to the show. All right, so as this is our rapid fire series, we've got 1 minute or less to answer each question. So in a minute or less, give us the elevator pitch to your story and your life. Go.
Well, my journey started off as an Olympic hopeful in the sport of equestrian show jumping. But on July 2nd, 1998, I was involved in a horrible car accident, and my dream and life as I'd known it were over. I suffered tremendous permanent injuries, the most devastating being a traumatic brain injury. I had to relearn how to read, write, walk, and talk all over again. But little did I know that my athlete training would actually prove itself very functional in first as a recovering survivor and then as a new business owner, because I had to reinvent my whole life, including a new business.
So that's fascinating, and I would love to dig a little bit deeper. So tell us a bit more about what you're working on today that you're most passionate about and believe will have the biggest impact.
Well, since 1998, I've been through a lot of challenges. I also have late stage Lyme disease. And about a year ago, my then doctor told me, I'm sorry, but there's nothing left for us to do. You'd better get your end of life affairs in order. Well, I found another doctor through an exhaustive search that is willing to stand by me. And she's not giving up on me. And I started doing IV infusions, which are actually keeping me alive at the moment. And with that new energy, I have really thrown myself into getting my message of hope, inspiration, this incredible story that I have been given to tell. I don't want that to die with me. I want to get it out there because I know the things that helped me are going to help my audiences as well. And so this year we have announced our nationwide bookings for our program and our regional bookings for something called Canines for the Kingdom, and that is our ministry. We do both secular and religious-based format with trained dogs that also have their own stories. These are all rescue dogs that came from horrible situations. And we share their testimony as well as with mine, because sharing our challenges, it's a shared journey with these dogs. And we also have a surprise little miniature pony that is also being trained to do tricks and be able to inspire others through what he has gone through.
So this next question is one that every entrepreneur has dealt with. Tell us about a time where you failed. We often say failure is the first step to success. So think about a time where you failed in the past. What happened? What did you learn from it?
Failure is truly the first step in success. And while I feel like I have failed and failed over and over and over again, and mainly because of my cognitive impairment. Unfortunately, for people like myself that aren't living in a home or in a hospital setting, there is no help for somebody who just needs a little bit of cognitive help. Somebody to make phone calls to help me go through my bills, making sure I didn't double bill or forget to bill someone or pay something. And I fail over and over and over again on those things. And so now I have realized that, okay, if I keep doing the same thing's going to keep happening. And so I have put some things into place, having a support person be able to make those phone calls for me and keep me on track cognitively so that I can be free to do what I do best, and that is sharing my story and allowing others to kind of pick my brain, no pun intended, and learn more about brain injuries so that laws and decision makers can help put resources into place to help people like myself, because there are millions of them out there who are not getting enough help. And with just a little bit more help, we could do so much more in managing our cognitive defects and becoming very valuable members of society.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating. And we're definitely going to have you back on the show to dive deeper into each of these questions. But for now, one thing that I often say is, and I tell this to my employees and the people who work with me and for me all the time, is that when a tree falls in the forest, if nobody hears it, did that tree actually fall? This brings me to this next question. How do you make sure that all of these amazing projects that you're involved in get noticed? What marketing and advertising methods have worked best for you? You've got a minute. Let's go.
So for me, social media has been a huge asset. I never set out to be a motivational speaker. It kind of just happened. I was partnered with my first service dog right after my accident, and he pulled my wheelchair and he taught me how to walk again. He alerted to seizures. Well, I was in my late 20s at the time of my accident, and people said I didn't look disabled and that I didn't need my wheelchair or my dog. And so I started speaking out about service dog rights and about invisible disabilities. And I went onto social media and I just started saying, hey, this is what happened to me today. And the story started to roll. And then the story of the former athlete turned businesswoman just got picked up by the AP wire. And before I knew it, I had a fascinating new career as a motivational speaker. And so social media, I think, would have to be the number one thing. Facebook mainly and LinkedIn have been my two biggest platforms as far as pushing my story and my business out there.
That was so awesome. We're definitely going to dive deeper into this on a later show. And as we approach our last question, before we ask people how people can get a hold of you, how people can reach you, learn more about the work that you're doing in your company, and we will include all that information in the show notes, what I wanted to ask you is, what is one piece of advice that you would offer to your younger self, to our audience, and to somebody, especially somebody who's just starting out in the same niche that you're in, but just doesn't know how to start or get going?
To never give up. And even when things look the darkest and the bleakest, we have to use our challenges in order to make us stronger. And they will. They absolutely will. And they will take us to a level that we never even dreamed of. But the key to that is being calm in your storm. Saying to yourself, okay, well, this is bad. This doesn't feel very good, but what can I learn from it? And you take that learning experience and you glean everything you can from it. Every challenge will make you better. And every time you get better, you're going to accelerate to a different and new exciting level.
Amazing stuff. We're going to have to thank our guest today for being a guest on Business Story of the Week. And before we cut out on this episode, I wanted to ask you, how can people get a hold of you? How can people learn more about what you're doing? And how do people engage with you? And we will transcribe this and put it in the show notes for everybody to find.
The best way to get a hold of me and to check out all of my story is the championbuildermotivation.com. That is our website. We also have a Facebook page and a coming soon page to our regular website for Canines for the Kingdom, and that is the animal assisted motivation. And that is letter K, number 9, apostrophe S for the kingdom.